All right, welcome back to Coffee Cafe. We are officially done with week one. As you can see, this bar right here pretty much indicates that this is done with week one's transaction. So now we're going to start moving on to the next transaction here on our scenario for week two. So it is now officially Saturday, June 8th, and let's see what happened here. We decided to go to, so we purchased a truck from Honest Rob's Auto Dealership. As you can see, here is what we purchased. We purchased a 2020 Toyota truck. Okay, we bought it brand new. Okay, again, that's the registration number. Okay, the invoice number there. We bought one, okay, which included documentation fees and, of course, state sales tax, which gave us a grand total of $32,208.90. All right, we made a down payment for $2,997, or sorry, $2,987. And of course, that means we owe $29,221.90. And we also got approved by the bank for a loan, for 3% interest for that $29,000. So, what do we do here? Okay, what did I buy? How did I pay? And what else did I acquire?
We have a truck
Okay, so we bought a truck
with a loan.
with a loan. Okay.
And then there is so we have a loan for the car, but at the same time we also have to pay extra fees on documentation and then sales tax.
Yes. Usually, rule of thumb is you are obligated to always 100 pay at least the sales tax, right? Before you can walk out of the store with anything, right? Even though they offer you a 0% down or 0% APR, zero down and zero this, you still have to pay the tax at least minimum. All right. So in this case, we already made a down payment, which should cover the tax. Okay. Now let's see. Do we have a truck in our chart of accounts?
I think so.
Yes, we do. Yes, we do. 17,010, right? We got a loan. What kind of loan did we get?
They're the one called a truck loan.
Truck loan 28,020. And of course, how are you going to make a payment for the down payment?
We paid with some cash.
Do we have cash on our hands right now?
No.
Okay.
Check. Well, we paid it with check because there's a check number.
Yes. Now, in this case, that's because are you going to go up to this person and have $2,987 in cash on your hands? Is that the best way to handle a down payment?
Most likely not.
Most likely not, right? Especially because it's 2,000. Especially this is $2,987. That's a very specific number, right? So in this case, yes, we will be using a check to pay for this, okay? So there you go. We have everything that we need here. So go back to your journal, right? We acquired a truck, which is a fixed asset, right? And we made a down payment. Well, we got a truck loan. Okay, and we made a down payment. Right? How much was the down payment for?
$2,987 even.
Yes, $2,987. How much was the truck loan for?
I believe it's 29,221.90.
Yes, right? Giving you a grand total of your truck to be costing a grand total of $32,208.90, right? We know that because we have the invoice right here that gives us all the information, including the documentation fees and the sales tax that we had that we were charged, right? It's listed it out for us. Now, in this case, let's go ahead and write that check so we have our check number available. So, check register, right? We are going to be using check number 1508 to be paying that $2,987. And to whom are we making a payment to?
To the car dealership.
Okay, which is?
Honest Love's Auto Dealership.
Yep. Right? And what did we do? Purchased a truck. Right? So, there we go. We have the check number 1508. So, we have pretty much all the information that we need for this transaction, right? Right? Because we know exactly who we bought the car from. We bought it from Honest Rob's. Right? What was the proof of our purchasing of the car?
We have invoice.
Yes, invoice number
8742351.
Okay. You can say, let's see, what else? What other information? You could say you got a loan, right?
Yes.
Who did you get a loan from?
Main Bank of Nevada.
Main Bank of Nevada. Loan from Main Bank of Nevada. And last but not least, you wrote check number 1508 for the down payment. Okay. Perfect. That's exactly enough space for us on our second journal. So that means we the next transaction we do is going to be on the next page. All right. So everything looks good, right? We completely finished our journal. We already did the check register, right? So now where do we need to go?
We need to go subledgers.
Okay, you can do the subledger first.
We wanna well.
You always want to make sure you post to the general ledger first because that actually is part of the steps of the accounting cycle, right? Posting to your subsidiary ledger isn't really necessary, but it does give you a good record to keep track of all the vendors that you owe, right? And all the people who owe you the money, right? But in this case, whichever one you want to do first is fine, but I would recommend you to do the general ledger first. Right? So in this case, we acquired a truck, which is an asset. Okay, under vehicles, here's the truck. Today is the 8th of June, right? We purchased the truck. How much was the truck? Well, let's take a look at our invoice. The truck itself was $28,900. The documentation fees and everything cost us $968, and then we got charged tax for $2,340.90. So $28,968. So I'm going to go ahead and put that in there. That the truck itself was $28,900 plus dock fees, which was a total of $968 plus tax, which gave you a total of $2,340.90. And let's double check that document fee was $968. Okay. So then, of course, where did we find this? We are at the bottom of our journal, page 2. So that gave us a grand total of $32,208.90. Okay. We got a truck loan out of that, right? Here you go, truck loan. I was already there. Now, in this case, what is the details on this truck loan? How many years? How long? Interest percentage? Okay. So we got 36 months, which is equivalent to 3 years truck loan. APR is 3%. And it says right here, payment due on the 20th of every month, okay? Here it says that we're going to be paying $849.81 a month, okay? That is definitely good information to put on your ledger. So then every time you make a payment, you know exactly how much you have to pay and how much you need to deduct, okay? So $849.81, 3-year, 3% APR interest. So that's perfect. I'm going to say 3 years, 3-year, 3% interest. What was that? $184.81 per month. Okay. Okay. All right. And then post reference, we are general journal page 2. And this time it's a credit for $29,221.90. That was the amount my truck loan is currently outstanding for. Okay. And of course, last but not least, we wrote a check number 1508. Which decreased our checking account by $2,987. So therefore, how much money should I now have in my checking account?
$7,202
Mm-hmm.
and 42 cents.
Okay. Good. So then, now that we finished our journal, we finished our ledger, now it'd be appropriate to go to our subsidiary ledger. Okay? So, first things first is we need to acknowledge that we purchased from Honest Rob's dealership. Okay, here you go. Hired temps, Honest Rob's auto dealer shop. Okay. Okay. You can put whatever you want to put here that you purchased, right? Right, for a grand total of $32,208.90. And you paid a down payment, right, with a check number 1508. Okay. Invoice number. What was the invoice number that I have from Honest Rob's? 8742531. 8742351. Okay, post reference, once again, still on page 2. Now, here is the question, okay? You may have purchased the truck from Rob's auto dealership, right? But in this case, do you owe Rob after you made the purchase?
No.
No, you don't. So in this case, the invoice amount only is going to reflect how much you actually paid him for the down payment. Right? Because you owe the rest of the money to the bank. So in this case, that's what you have to record, that you paid Robert's Auto Dealer Shop $2,987, and you paid using a check because that's what the invoice told you, right? It doesn't tell you that you owe Robert or Honest Rob the $32,000, right? Because in this case, the bank paid Robert off. Okay? So in this case, all we have to recognize is what we paid to Honest Rob's. Which in this case, we only paid that $2,987, and that's it. That's all we need to record here, because what happened next? Well, in case we ever have to return the car, right? We test drive it, we don't like it, we can go back to Honest Rob's and either do a trade out or sell it back to him, right? But of course, you're not going to get all of your money back, especially with this down payment. Okay, but they do give you that option where if you don't like your car, you can always do a trade-in or sell it back to Honest Rob's, right? It's never a full refund, right? So in this case, we need to now go to the Main Bank of Nevada because that's who we got the loan from. Okay, here you go, Main Bank of Nevada. So in this case, right, I acquired a loan from Main Bank of Nevada, right? Truck loan for 3 years, okay, with a 3% interest, right? And it's going to cost me $849.81 per month, okay? And that's pretty much all you can say, because that's all that there is, right? And an account number, was it on there? Let's see. Do we have an account number?
We do.
We do. So therefore, since we have an account number, that is what you're going to be contracted by. Now, that's something that you can either add either in the notes or into the invoice itself. But in this case, we never received my very first bill. So in this case, put this as information as part of your notes. So 123898765 is the account number. Okay? So I'm not going to put that in my invoice because, again, I never received my first bill yet. But that's definitely something that you need to know, because that's how you make payments to the for the truck loan. Okay? Now, here's something that we do know. That it is date driven because that means it's going to be due on the 20th of every month. So date driven means that it's due on a specific day every single month. So in this case, my terms is going to be the 20th of every month. Okay? That's at least something you could put in there. Right? And you know that you're going to owe this much amount, right? Because you owe on your invoice amount for a grand total of $29,221.90. Right? We know that for a fact. So therefore, your formula is going to be your invoice minus prepaid minus discounts minus returns minus payments, and you owe $29,221.90. Okay? And every month you receive a bill. Okay? That's where you're going to fill in everything else and slowly reduce your truck loan payments. Okay, but again, you're going to be looking at different stuff too because you also have your line of credit as well. Yes.
I was going to put due date as 20th in terms of 3 years. That would confuse me.
I mean, if you understand, remember, you're the one that's looking at your books.
Okay.
Anybody else that does look into your books, is it going to be confusing to them? Because remember, you're the bookkeeper. You're not the accountant.
Yes.
So that means the other people can look at your book.
Yes.
Okay. So if it makes sense to you, that's fine. If you need to elaborate, then that's where you're going to have to make that decision.
Okay. Thank you.
All right. So there you go. That's pretty much all the information I actually need for this transaction. Okay. So we are done with this transaction. So that means, let's go back to our journal here, right? We acquired a truck. We did the ledger. We did the subsidiary ledger because we dealt with 2 vendors. So now we can go ahead and move on to page 3 of our transactions. So 6-8, okay? And what did we purchase? Okay. Says here that we purchased a 12-month auto insurance policy from AAA Auto Insurance Company. All right, our contract number is number 5877411, which is a full coverage with emergency roadside assistance. Okay, for a total amount of $2,400. Monthly payments of $200 are due on the 5th of every single month. Issue a check to pay for the coverage for June. All right, use check number 1509. All right, so what did we buy? Insurance. Now, in this case, we bought a 12-month plan, but in this case, we didn't have to pay up front, right? They told us you're going to buy a 12-month plan, then here you go. Just pay every $200 per month. So in this case, no prepaid accounts here, but we know that it should equal up to $2,400, okay? And we're making monthly payments of $200 every 5th of the month, okay? So how do we record this transaction? We bought insurance. We know for a fact we do have insurance, right? Let's check out what that account is. Let me see. Insurance expense right here. $6,400 is our insurance expense, right? Because we're going to be paying for the month of June. And we're going to be writing a check, number 1509. So how am I going to record this?
We are writing just $200 on the first check, right?
What is it telling you? Is it telling you to pay for 1 month or paying for the entire 12 months?
It sounds like we're paying a monthly, so just 1 month.
Yes, because in this case, right, we were paying for a specific plan, right? It in total it'd be $2,400, but they're not expecting us to pay for the whole thing. They want us to pay every single month on the 5th of every single month. And it says right here specifically, pay for the month of June. So, what do you think that check is going to be written out for?
It will have $200.
Excuse me.
The check 1509 is for $200 for insurance.
Okay. Insurance expense number 6,400 for $200. Right, and we're writing a check, so it's going to come out from our checking account. We're going to decrease our checking account one more time. Okay, and so let's write our check first. Okay, so first going to the check register. Check number 1509, so 68. Okay, for $200. Who am I writing this check out to?
It's AAA Auto Insurance Corporation.
AAA Auto.
Insurance CO.
Which is company. Okay. And for what? Car insurance. Okay. So now, right, we have everything that we need to be able to finish our description for our journal, right? We paid to AAA Auto Insurance. Okay. We paid for a full coverage insurance. So it's up to you. That could be something that you could put onto your subsidiary ledger. So in this case, did I have an invoice or contract number? Yes, I do. Contract number
5877411.
right? And how did I pay?
With check number 1509.
All right. So now that I finished my journal, I need to plug my numbers into my ledger. Okay. So starting with your ledger, I just bought car insurance, so that's going to be under operating expenses. For my insurance expense, here's insurance expense. So here, right, I could put auto insurance for June. General journal, page 3, right, because we just started a new one. I just paid $200. So what is my total insurance expense going to be for the month of June? Right? Do you remember the formula? It's going to be previous number plus any debits minus any credits because we're under expenses, right? Expenses are increased by debits and decreased by credits. So in this case, that's the formula, previous number plus any debits minus any credits. So I have a grand total of $395.83. worth of insurance expense. Okay. And of course, I need to go to my checking account because I just wrote out another check. Check number 1509. General Journal, page 3, because we're on the new page now. And I wrote another check out for $200. So in this case, what is going to be my total ending balance in my checking account right now?
$7,000 to $7,002.42.
7,242. Okay. So we're already, we started with $30,000 and now we're down to $7,000, and we only been in 1 week of Coffee Cafe. All right. That's usually rule of thumb in the very beginning of a business is you're most likely to spend a lot of money in the very beginning because you're trying to set up your business. Right? So I finished the journal. I finished the ledger. Now I need to go ahead and update my subsidiary ledger because even though I don't owe the AAA auto dealership, I still need to make a record that I have a current policy opened with them, right? And that I should be making monthly payments to this AAA auto insurance company, right? So that's where you're going to be putting in all the details in regards to the insurance that you bought, right? So in this case, full coverage auto insurance with roadside assistance, right? For $2,400 a year, monthly payments of $200. Right? Invoice number, we have a contract number. That contract number is 5877411. 587-411. I think I missed a couple numbers there. 5877. Okay, I missed one more 7411. Okay. Post reference, General Journal, page 3. Okay. Do I have terms? Well, we know for a fact that the insurance is going to be due every 5th of the month, right? Your $200 payments are going to be due every 5th of the month. Okay. And, oh, I forgot to put one more thing. We paid for the month of June. Okay. So make sure that you have that there. Paid for month of June. With the check number 1509. That's proof of our transaction there. Okay. So the invoice amount was $200 because that's what I'm being billed for every single month is $200. And I've just paid for the month of June, right? I made a payment for $200 using check number 1509. So how much money do I actually owe the insurance company? Really, you don't owe anything. Now, how you want to do this, if you really wanted to, if you wanted to keep track of this, right, that you can go ahead and put your monthly policy at $2,400, right? And that today you paid for the month of June, so therefore you decrease it by $200, so that means you still owe, you should owe more than that. right, that you would owe. I think my formula is not working. Oh, that's why. $200, right? So then here it tells me that I still owe $2,200 to insurance. That is up to your discretion on how you want to use this. If this is a better way to remind you that you're paying for one whole year's worth of insurance, by all means. So that means every time you have a monthly payment, all you have to do is just record the payment of $200. Now, again, that is optional, but if you rather do it by a month to month basis, you can just say, well, my insurance plan, right, is only $200 per month. So that means I'm only going to charge myself $200 per month. That is up to your discretion because at the end of the day, your bills that you receive is going to tell you you owe X amount of money, right? You owe this. Now, in this case, this would make a lot more sense that I owe the insurance company $2,200 for my monthly insurance plan that I agreed that I'm going to pay $2,400 for, right, for the whole year, and that I'm making my monthly payments every 5th of the month. So in this case, this makes it more easier to understand, so you don't have to really think about how much more do you have to pay for a monthly insurance plan, right? But that's only if it's a flat number, right? If you weren't given the number of how much that insurance plan was going to be for the whole year, then unfortunately you would just have to put in how much money you actually put into the auto insurance company every single month instead of the other way around. But in this case, we were already given that we chose to make that $2,400 insurance plan and that we agreed to make monthly payments of $200. So in this case, this would make a lot more sense. So we kind of are aware that when we do pay for our auto insurance, this is how much money we are putting into the auto insurance company. All right? Right? But again, it's up to your discretion on how you feel that this information is going to be working for you. Okay? So I'm going to leave it like this. So then, again, so it's a clear vision that I purchased a $2,400 auto insurance plan and I'm only making monthly payments of $200. Okay? Awesome. Okay. All right. So now that we got the insurance plan all figured out, okay? So now let's see what happened next. Okay? So it is still June 8th, and we decided to do another purchase order for purchase order number 305 to All Things Ceramics, okay? So in this case, we are purchasing 80 ceramic coffee mugs per unit of $2.45, giving us a grand total of $196 even. So in this case, right, $100 down payment is required. So how do I journalize this transaction here? How do I journalize that I'm purchasing ceramic coffee mugs and they require a down payment?
When we put the payment on the brewer, we use the prepaid account.
Good, right? We're going to be using another prepaid account. Now, first, okay, so we address that we're going to be using a prepaid account and we're making a payment of $100. Okay? So in this case, let's go ahead and fill out our purchase order first so we actually have proof of a transaction. Okay? So, good. At least we recognize what account we're going to be using. So purchase order number 305. So that's 303, 304. Okay, purchase order number 305. Today is the 8th, right? Who did we purchase from?
All things ceramics.
Yep, all things ceramics. Okay, what did we buy?
80 ceramic coffee mug at $2.45 each. And the estimated amount is 196.
Good, so good. Grand total is going to be for that 196. Okay, so here we have our purchase order number, right? 170305. So that's proof of our transaction that we're going to use because we haven't received the bill yet. So in this case, that will be our proof of transaction right there. Okay. So since we have to make a down payment, we're going to be writing another check. So check number 1510 for $100 is going to, who am I making the payment to?
All things ceramics.
Okay. For down pay on coffee mugs. Okay, awesome. So let's go ahead and journalize our transaction because we have everything that we need for this transaction, right? We know we're going to be making a down payment. So in this case, that's exactly where we're going to be putting it. We're going to apply it as if we were purchasing a voucher, right? We're purchasing a voucher that gives us a credit for $100. And we know because we wrote a check out, right? Check number 1510. So that's going to be proof of the money coming out from my checking account, right? So we have everything that we need, right? We're going to go ahead and say we purchased, or not purchased, but we ordered from All Things Ceramics, right? And that's going to give us through our purchase order number 170305, right? They required a down payment, which we wrote a check number 1510 for. Right? Do you need to know how much the down payment is? Well, you already said you wrote a check for $100, so it's pretty obvious that the down payment was $100. Okay? So now that we finished the journal, right? We now need to plug our numbers into my ledger because again, I just wrote another check out and it is going towards the down payment for the ceramic coffee mug. So in this case, that's exactly what I need to do. I need to find my prepaid accounts. Here it is, prepaid accounts. Okay. Today's the 8th, right? What are you going to write here? Down pay on coffee mugs. Purchase order number 17305. Okay. We are on our third journal here. And because we increased our prepaid accounts by $100, that $100 is going to bring us up to $7,926.04. Okay? Right? And we also need to subtract another $100 from my checking account because I had to pay for it. Okay? So in this case, check number 1510. Journal page 3 and We wrote another $100 check. So therefore, how much money do I have in the bank now? Okay, if I wrote my check out, I have right now $7,002.42, and I just wrote another check for $100. How much money should I have left in my checking account?
6902.42.
6902.42. Okay. Now, since we wrote a check to a vendor, right? We also need to update my subsidiary ledger because I have a purchase order pending. So here we go. Top of the vendors is going to be your All Things Ceramics. Today's the 8th. What did we purchase for? Ordered 80 ceramic coffee mugs, right? Down pay. Actually, hold on. Let's reword that. Down payment on 80 ceramic coffee mugs. Check number 1510. Okay. Invoice, right, is our purchase order, right? That's our proof of transaction because the purchase order gave us the details, right? We're still on page journal number 3. No terms yet because we haven't received the bill yet itself. Okay? Don't use the prepaid in prepaid accounts yet because again, with the formula that's intact, they don't owe you anything because they, and then on top of that, you have to make a payment too. So right now they don't owe you anything, right? Except for to giving you your money back if they don't send you the items, but they have to send you the items. So in this case, we're going to make it so then the purchase order says that, hey, the purchase order says that you are required to make a down payment of $100. And how we interpret that is we're going to make a payment for that $100 using the check number 1510. Okay? So once again, this formula is going to be the same formula, right, of your invoice minus any prepaid, minus your returns, minus your discounts, minus your payment. So right now, we don't owe All Things Ceramics anything, okay? But we did write them a check, $15.10, for the down payment on those ceramic coffee mugs. Okay, so that means when we are pending for the bill, we should see our down payment being applied to the invoice itself. Okay. All right, and that is pretty much it for this transaction right here. Right, we got everything we needed done. Right, we filled in the purchase order. We didn't receive anything yet. So in this case, right, we filled in the purchase order, we wrote the check, we updated the ledger, we updated the subsidiary ledger. Right? No inventory yet because why? We just ordered for the ceramic coffee mugs. We haven't received them yet. So there's no need for the inventory worksheet yet. Okay? So then, what do you know? We end up receiving our desk set from, not the desk set. We end up receiving our bistro tables and chairs from Furniture Store. Okay, so here's our invoice number 75. Okay, we got some terms, right, of net 15. this is the item that we ordered. We ordered 10 bistro tables, which comes with a 1 table and 2 chair set. Okay, which was quoted at $605.55, which with 10 of them gave us $6,000 quote. And here we got charged tax, okay, for $499.58. And we even got a delivery charge for $50. Okay, so again, your grand total here is $6,605.08. So, all right, let's talk about it. What did we buy?
Furniture.
We bought furniture. Specifically, what kind of furniture?
The in-store table and a chair set.
Okay, so let's see. Okay, do we actually have a table and chair set?
We do.
Yes, we do, right? 1310 is our bistro tables and chairs. Okay? And then let's see. How did we pay?
On the account. We are going to put it on the account.
Yes, there's no way we're going to pay that $6,000 right now, right? Because right now we only have $6,942, right, in our checking account. There's no way we're going to make this $6,000 payment now. So we're going to take advantage of the bill of when it's due, right? It's due in 15 days. So we're going to wait to pay this off. So in this case, yes, we're going to be using an accounts payable. So bistro tables and chairs is account number 1310, right? Because we acquired an asset. Right? How much was my total bistro tables and chairs?
6605.08.
Okay. And of course, we're going to make it payable on an account because there's no way we can afford to pay that right now for the same exact amount. So in this case, since we're paying it on an account, we have all the information that we need to do the description, right? Who did we receive this from? Furniture store. What was the proof of a transaction?
We got invoice number 75.
Right? We know that it's going to be due in 15 days. And that's it. You don't need to say that you bought 10 sets of tables and chairs, right? That could be left for your descriptions. Okay? So in this case, there you go. All the information that I need for this transaction. But before we move on, I don't want to forget that we need to also verify that we received these tables and chairs, right? So we don't have to look forward to it. So in this case, right, let's see. Did we receive our desk set? Yes, we did. Did we receive our counter and display shelves? Yes, we did. Okay. Did we receive our coffee brewer yet? No, we haven't. Here you go. Right? Did we receive our tables and chairs yet? Yes. Okay. When did we receive it? All right, we got to put the date in here. We received it on the 8th of June. So I need to format this. Okay, because I want it as a date. Okay, so let's retype that in. Okay. And what was the invoice number on there?
75.
Right? To verify that this is correct. Okay. Okay, so let's take a look at my journal. and plug our numbers into our ledger. Okay, because there goes another transaction. We received some fixed assets and we owe it on an account. So we owe more money to a vendor. Okay. All right, so here we are at furniture, bistro tables, and chairs. So this is where you could be as descriptive as you like. So in this case, you could say 10 sets, 10 set of table slash chairs, right? Which equals a 6,600, oh no, $6,055 and 50, no, 50, yeah, 55.50 plus tax, 8.25% tax, which was a total of $499 and how many cents? 58 cents. Okay, plus $50 shipping. Okay. Again, post reference, we're on page 3, and it was for a grand total amount of $6,605.08. Okay. Right? And now that I plugged in my asset, I now need to go to my liabilities because now I received a bill and I'm owing more money to furniture store. Right? So today's the 8th, right? Invoice number 75. We're on journal page 3 here, and we increased our liability by $6,605.08. So how much is my grand total that I owe to all my vendors?
It's $10,033.75.
$10,033.75. So look at that. We only have $7,000 or roughly $7,000 in our bank, and we currently owe $10,000. So look at that. That's no bueno, okay? Because again, just because we owe money, that doesn't mean we don't pay them. So eventually it will catch up to us and we have to make those payments. Okay? So kind of keep it in mind, all right? I know this is like the very beginning of what you should be occurring when you open up or try to start your businesses. You are going to be making a lot of expenses and a lot of purchasing of furniture or fixed assets or anything like that, right? To get yourself ready for business. So in this case, it's going to cost us $6,000 extra dollars here for those tables and chairs, and we owe it on an account. Okay? So now that we actually owe more money, we need to put that in our subsidiary ledger to put it in our records that we owe more money to a particular vendor, which is furniture store. All right? So in this case, we received our bistro tables and chairs on the 8th. What did you buy? You could say you purchased 10 sets of 1 table and 2 chairs. Okay. Invoice number 75. General Journal number, General Journal number 3 here. And we also got the same exact terms. It's net 15. So in this case, right, what date is going to be when my bill is due? 23rd, right? So you could go ahead and insert a formula where you take the date and you add 15, and it will take you to the 23rd of June. All right, for the $6,605.08. And because you're not going to make a payment, it says right here, because we copied down the formula, that we owe an additional $6,605, which in my grand total, I owe to furniture store $9,000 and $33.75. So once again, this is one of my major vendors that I owe the most money to right now. Okay. All right. Let's see if we have time for another one. Okay. It is now June 10, Monday. So we took a couple days off here. And the first thing we have to do is we need to make a payment to Miss Kim Robinson for the $1,000 that we owed to her. Okay? We need to pay Miss Kim Robinson $1,000. Okay? So how do we journalize this? How do we know we owe? How do we know to pay Miss Kim Robinson $1,000?
Well, we put her invoice into account payable.
Okay. Where else did we also put that invoice?
In the liability.
Okay, more specifically.
Account payable.
No. More specific. Where is all the details going to be?
Going to be on the vendors
list. So in this case, I can pull up Kim Robinson's profile, right? I can look up everything that I owe to Kim Robinson. So if I go ahead and look her up under my vendors list here, right? Robinson Kim, here it is. I received the bill on the 7th. This is bill number 1541 for the interior design. We were given 3 days to pay, so that means we are obligated to pay on June 10. And guess what today is? June 10. And she billed me for $1,000. So right here, this is where you need to go for those bills that you're going to be making payments to. Because in this case, you're going to need to know what bill you're paying, how much you're paying, and when you're paying. Okay, so in this case, I have all the information here. I'm going to, who am I paying? What bill am I paying? How much I'm paying? And when I'm paying is all in one area. Instead of going to your accounts payable, yes, it's there. But it doesn't tell you when that payment is due, right? It just tells you that you owe Kim Robinson $1,000, but it doesn't even tell you who Kim Robinson is, right? Because all we listed was just the invoice number. So in this case, your best bet is to go to your vendors list, because this will give you exact details of who billed you, when they billed you, and when it's due. So in this case, that's exactly what I want you to do, is utilize your worksheets that you have. Okay, especially because now we're paying a bill. Because right now we owe her $1,000. So now, how do I pay for what I owe? what account would I use to represent that I'm going to pay for what I owe?
We are paying out of a checking account
We're going to pay out of our checking account, so we're going to issue her a check.
and toward the paying account payable.
Yes, right? Because now this is where we're going to be using the accounting model, right? How do I reduce a liability? Well, I reduce a liability by debiting the account. That tells me I'm going to decrease my liabilities. But in order to decrease my liabilities, I have to pay for it. And if I have to pay for it, that means I also have to reduce my checking account. So in this case, that's exactly what we're going to do. We're going to be journalizing that. We're going to be reducing our accounts payable, right? By debiting my accounts payable account for $1,000 because that's how much we're making a payment for, right? And we also agreed that we're going to also be decreasing our checking account. Okay? Now in this case, let's go ahead and cut the check now. Okay? So in this case, I'll be using check number 1511. Today's June 10. And we're going to make a $1,000 payment to who? Who are we writing this check out to?
Miss Kim Robinson.
Yes, Miss Kim Robinson. For what? You could say for the interior design, or you could say for the bill. Interior consultation bill. Okay. So I have my check number that I'm paying, right? So let me see. We cut a check out to Miss Kim Robinson, so that's definitely important that you need to know is who did you make a payment to? Miss Kim Robinson. What was proof of the transaction that you're paying?
Check number.
Okay. But what was the source of that information? In this case, you're going to be identifying the bill that you're paying, right? Because that was the proof of the transaction that you deferred the payment to, which is $15.42, right? And then you're going to identify the check number that you wrote to make proof that you paid Ms. Kim Robinson. So in case she doesn't receive your check or doesn't know that you're paying, right? Right? You can call her up or she'll call you saying, hey, you know you owe me a bill, right? And you could say, I did make a payment to you. I paid you on June 10 with check number 1511. Check your mail, okay? All right, so there you go. 1511. So we already wrote our check, right? So what is the second thing we got to do? We got to post it to the ledger. Okay? So in this case, right, we are going to be decreasing our liabilities. So there are many ways that you can go ahead and fill this in. You could say, right, payment, right, invoice number 1542, and your proof is the check number 1511, right? That will give you pretty much all the details that you're making a payment to this invoice, and that is paid by check number 1511, okay? Do not enter in invoice number 1542 one more time, because then that's going to be, you know, in this case, if anybody looks at it, it looks like you just received another bill, even though it's credited, right? So in this case, I'm being a little more specific, saying that I made a payment, right, to the invoice $15.42. Now, you don't need to put the check number. That's optional, right? As long as you make a differentiation between you entering the bill number and actually making a payment to the bill. Okay? And we're still on journal page 3. And this time, we are going to be decreasing my liability by debiting the account by $1,000. So again, you went from $10,033.75 to drop down to $9,033.75 because you just paid $1,000. Okay? So now that I have my account balance lowering in my accounts payable, right? I also need to lower my checking account. So in this case, checking. Today's the 10. Okay, make sure you, right? Check number 1511. Still on page journal 3. And we wrote another $1,000 check. So that's going to drop my checking account to $5,902.42. Okay. All right. So the next part is where I'm going to actually, I want you guys to pay the most attention to. Okay. How do I plug in a payment into my subsidiary ledger? Because there are many ways that you can do so, right? Now, how I want to show you could be different from how you want to interpret it or how you want to put it in. Now, in this case, right, in my subsidiary ledger, I have all the information that I need about this particular bill. Now, I have two options that I can do to represent that I paid this bill off, right? I'm going to show you the first one, and then I'll show you the second one, and I would recommend you using the second one, okay? Now, in this case, because I made a payment, right, what you can do is you can simply just enter in the payment right here saying you paid $1,000, and boom, there you go. Now that bill is canceled because therefore all the information that you have is still there, right? It's logged in there, right? You don't need to change or add anything else into this transaction because you made a payment already. But yes, you may want to edit your notes to make sure that you enter in that you paid using a check number, right? Now, as my recommendation, I would say that's probably not very wise that you could do, just because then you're not creating your trail of transactions, right? So what I prefer you to use is, instead of putting the payment right there, right, I want you to create another line item. So this is way number 2, to enter in all the information that you need to enter in. So in this case, what was the date? Well, today is June 10. What did you do? You paid, right, using check number 1511 for which bill? 1542. General journal, page 3 this time, okay? And all I'm going to be doing here is adding my $1,000 to my payment column. Now notice this. If I drag this formula down, right, it's telling me that I have a negative $1,000 there. And therefore, look at my total. I owe Kim Robinson $0. This one will definitely make it more beneficial for you because it actually gives you an actual trail of transactions. Because look, this tells you that you have 2 transactions going on, one on the 7th and one on the 10th. But if you were to combine it into that previous one, that previous line there, which is acceptable, yes, you can do, but that limits your ability to add in all the information that you need, because then you're going to be squeezing in 2 dates in here, and then that's going to mess up your formula here, right? Because I'm adding 3 days to this. And then, of course, you need to put in your check number here. You also need to put in that the post reference number that you're adding in there is not on the second page, it's on the third page. So again, you're better off creating a second row for the second transaction because, again, it gives you an actual clear vision of a track record that a proof of a transaction has incurred, but also that you have two separate transactions going on, which is true. This isn't one transaction, right? You didn't pay on the day that you received the bill. You paid on the day that the bill was due. So in this case, my best recommendation is for you to go through the second way where you're adding another row for the transaction to represent that you're paying the bill. Okay? Because again, even though you're repeating on the information, it makes it much more clear to see the transactions that you have completed with Ms. Kim Robinson and for every other vendor that you occur if you follow this rule. Okay? All right. Any questions in regards to the subsidiary ledger? No questions? All right, so I'm going to pause here, right? So we paid Ms. Kim Robinson, so we don't owe Ms. Kim Robinson anything. So we are completely done with this transaction here.